I am honored to join you in proclaiming January 26th, 2022 to be a Tongan Day of Remembrance here in Portland. With this proclamation, this council expresses our condolences and support for our Tongan friends and neighbors who have recently suffered a terrible tragedy. About 2 weeks ago, 40 miles north of the Tongan archipelago, a volcano erupted with the force of many atomic bombs. That eruption triggered a tsunami which swept over the islands of the Tongan archipelago. Since then, Tonga has been largely cut off from the world. Nearly 2 weeks later, Tongans have no electricity, internet access, or phone service. Because Tonga has gone silent, we are still learning about the extent of the damage and needs in that island nation. But we do know this: the wounds left by this catastrophe will run deep and will take years to heal. And that is why we are here today. This council brings forward this proclamation as a way to express our condolences, deep concern, and unwavering support for our Tongan neighbors. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the Kingdom of Tonga, let me provide a little background. Tonga is an island nation in the South Pacific, about 5,648 miles away from Portland. Despite that difference, Tonga is closer to Portland than you may realize. Tongans first started to settle in Portland in substantial numbers in the 1970s. Today, about 1,300 Portlanders have roots in Tonga. And today, Tongans are one of the fastest growing ethnic groups here in the Portland metro area, which means Tongans are not only an important part of Portland's past, Tongans will also be an important part of Portland's future. Portland and the Tongan community have a shared history which stretches back half a century, and those shared experiences are among the reasons why a natural disaster in Tonga resonates so deeply here in Portland. Today, I'm thinking about one thing in particular which Portlanders and the people of Tonga share in common. We both live in the shadows of volcanoes. Portlanders of a certain age will remember Mount St. Helens erupting in 1980. Tonga's current situation is like that, but they also have to deal with this. Imagine Mount St. Helens erupting, but then there's a tsunami 49 feet high. But instead of living in Portland, you live on a tiny, low-slung island in the middle of the Pacific during a pandemic. That is where Tonga is right now. The hearts of our Tongan neighbors are broken. I saw that pain with my own eyes this past Saturday when Commissioner Ryan and I, staff from the Office of Civic Life and the Police Bureau, attended a community event organized by ERCO, which brought Portland's Tongan community together to share stories of loss, fear, pain, and resilience. At that event, one Tongan Portlander told us about talking to her mom on the phone as the volcano erupted. Her mom said, "It's raining rocks and ash is falling right now." But by far the more common and frankly more terrifying experience was this. At least a dozen people with roots in Tonga shared stories about trying to call, text, or message a mom, dad, sister, brother, son, or daughter in the aftermath of a volcanic eruption followed by a tsunami, and they were not able to get through for days on end. That is the life our Tongan friends and neighbors are living right now. That is a unique and cruel form of torture. And that is why this council wants the Tongan community to know that Portland shares your pain and has your back. Now, here to tell us more about the current conditions, both in Tonga and here in Portland's Tongan community, we have Lute Richards, a full-blooded Tongan born and raised in American Samoa. Lute's community involvement in Portland began when she served as the Pacific Island Community Liaison with the Division Midway Alliance. Now, Lute serves as a youth and family advocate for the Immigrant and Refugee Community Organization. And we are also joined by Kulini Fusitua, who is also with IRCO, but wears many other hats, including serving on the City of Portland's New Portlanders Policy Commission, the Oregon Pacific Islander Coalition, and Metro's Park and Nature Equity Advisory Committee. Lute Kulini Malu Lia'a. Welcome, and please tell us more about how things are going back at your homeland.
Yeah, this is Kolini. Good morning, everybody. I want to first give a thank you to the mayor and the city council for giving us an opportunity of member from the Tongan community to share what has been going on the last couple of weeks. And also, I want to have an acknowledgement and thank you to Commissioner Maps and Commissioner Odyssey for championing this event here today. Also, I want to give out a thank you to Commissioner Ryan for showing up and being in the circle of the community healing, as mentioned by Commissioner Maps. I just want to give you guys an update with what's going on in Tonga. The effect is still going on. There's support coming in from outside of the country, meaning New Zealand and Australia. They're shipping in supplies and so forth. Water's being contaminated, so they're shipping a lot of water, shipping a lot of food from there. Locally, fortunately, we had a community healing last week. It was very much needed for us to heal and for us to share our pain among ourselves, and also for outside of our community that wanted to support us to be there to show us their love and support. So it was a needed for all. And I can share what happened as Commissioner Matt have shared how emotional it was, but you're not going to get the full effect if you miss, being there, being present, and feeling the emotion and the tears. There's one of the testimony mentioned. We appreciate you being here. If you don't have resources, if you have no funding to give us after today, we are thankful that you are here to hear our pain. That is gift already. So to show appreciation for our community local leaders, that is huge for us. What else is going on? We have created a core team. We have the city council joining us, New Portlander Policy Commission, City of Beaverton, and the other organization. Leader is part of this core team and brainstorming and sharing information, what resources is available, supplies to send back home, and what funding gets to be supported our local community and also back home. As mentioned with Commissioner Maps, a lot of our homes has been destroyed. Remember, we are from a third world country. Our homes are not insured. There's very few homes that are insured. So if a tsunami come and wipe out your entire home, you have nothing there. A slab of concrete is not even there. You absolutely have nothing. You're gonna rebuild from scratch, and that's the reality. People lost everything. Not only that, they have to relocate to other nearby islands. This is a natural disaster. This is a climate refugee, status option, and this is huge. So I just want to give a thank you again to the mayor and the city council giving us an opportunity for our city here to hear and know who we are. The Tongan community has been here since the 70s, and we haven't had great relationship with the city, not because we didn't want to, we just didn't know how to be engaged. And the city did not know where to find us, but fortunately, within the last I'd say probably 7 years, we've started to build a relationship, Portland Parks, Border Police, and with the city council, and we're working on that relationship to continue. And we want to thank you again. And I think Commissioner Mapp's staff, we've requested that one of the bridges, if he is generous enough to show solidarity with our community, to be lit up with the Tongan flag color. So with that, just want to give back to the commission and say thank you. If you have any questions, feel free. Thank you. Lupe.
Okay.
Hello. Malalele, Mayor Wheeler, and esteemed city commissioners, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Lupe Filumohala Richards, and I am grateful to be here representing the Tongan community of Portland, Oregon. First and foremost, we thank the Almighty God for our leaders of our city and state and our beloved country of America. But by you recognizing our Tongan cultural and heritage to be known and studied within our neighboring communities, we take pride and celebrate it to the fullest since you proclaimed it back in August of 2019. Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, a recent massive volcano eruption to our small kingdom of Tonga caused us to be here again, but bring you and I together as community members. But here in Portland, Oregon, we come together since the event of community healing event last Saturday. Talk amongst ourselves to see where we can start within ourselves first. Donating whatever necessary items that are essentials to collect, and to put them in huge containers and then ship them to Tonga. But then when all that's done, the communities are like sitting down, but we can't manage to have the means to purchase the containers or the means to ship them out to Tonga. But all of that, we still have hope to where, and that's where we would like to see if we can ask for resources, just resources where we lead us to those, so that we community members can really help our families and the people back in Tonga. Volcanic ash fall is affecting air and water quality on the islands. For the needs for medicine and medical supplies is what's been talked amongst the community here. And I was told by my cousin's family, she's a second cousin, her family who lives in one of those islands, the people of Tonga end up having to swim back to the water to collect the clothes, that's little bits of clothing floating around on the water, because everything just gone. But whatever clothes they could find to bring them back to the shore and just dry them up to have a pair of change into. But the community here of the Tongan community here in Portland are really starting, like I said, to seek humanitarian aid efforts within our own capacity, but as with the in-person appearance of Commissioner Ryan and Commissioner Maps to our last week event, really brought hopes to the community. Once again, I say, city commissioners, is that they will, there's hopes to more resources where we can reach to. I would like to say that this volcanic eruption will greatly affect the global climate. While I don't have much time to dive deep into this topic, but I would just like to say that there will be long-lasting effects of including widespread crop damage to coral reefs, eroding coastlines, and disrupting fisheries. And all of these are just the only natural source of living and vital to the people of Tonga. And I was told this by my auntie who lives in Vatu, Tonga, about this. And so, lastly, I just want to say the King of Tonga express his thanks and appreciation to all the help and the aids and the support from overseas to bring relief to the Kingdom of Tonga. Mr. Mayor, I want to close by sincerely thanks the City of Portland for the Portland City Council for Tonga Proclamation. We are so honored and are very humble. This is like Christmas all over again to us community, Tongan community. From our city leaders for the heartfelt support in this proclamation. Commissioner Ryan and Max, we thank you for your state of leadership as well in support of our last week community healing event. And Commissioner Hardesty, and to the rest of you city council, this opportunity brings good hopes, like I said, again, to our Tongan community as we stand together to help not just the island of Tonga, but our city here and its richly diverse communities. Please let us know what the Tongan community can do to help our city and state here. We stay and stand ready. But overall, I thank you. Thank you so much for listening.